So the next thing we're going to look at doing is we're going to look at how to correctly set up a section folder for a new website or a subsite in the Wichita State University Omni CMS environment. And a lot of users have to do this at some point because, as I was saying in a previous video, there's a lot of things that shift around, new teams that are made, new teams that get dissolved, so on and so forth. And so you may find yourself needing to create a new subsite. So let's go over here, back into our directory using Content tab and Pages. And we're in our directory here, and we want to create a new subsite off of this section. What we can do is we go up to the upper right, and we've got the New tab. And like a lot of the other things in Omni CMS, there's more than one way to do a task. In this case, we could click New, and we'll get this large pop-up with a whole lot of buttons in it. A lot of us actually use the drop down on the side, which offers the same options in a more sort of compact area with no need to scroll through it. A lot of people will use the folder button at the top to create a folder to create their site in, but I would recommend you not do this because sometimes it doesn't generate a nav file. And we will talk about nav files a little further on down the line. For the moment, what we need to look at is section right here with the folder. Websites and web pages live in section folders. So under New, we want to click Section. Get a pop-up here for our new section, and it wants a folder name. Enter the directory name that will be visible in OU Campus and in the URL. No special characters or spaces. This is basically the file name. So maybe I'm doing this on website accessibility. I could call this web page and an underscore, since we're not allowed to have spaces, accessibility, if I can spell right. Then we have a section title. Section title, enter a friendly name for the section's title and or breadcrumb. And we'll call this website accessibility as well, but without a space, using capital letters. So then we get the general page setup. What it's actually having us do now is enter the variables for our landing page. And if you remember back when we were looking at the parameters tab for the landing page and for the standard content page, all of these options were in there. So we're basically creating that new page. You would get the same basic menu whenever you create a new page in a directory. The difference is you don't have the folder information fields right here. So maybe I want to call the page web page accessibility. That's our title. Description and our short description of the page to be displayed by search engines. And you can put whatever description text you want there to be shown in the search engine when people look for it. Tags, we call it, in my case, MRC web, MRC accessibility. Keywords used for search engines, if you wanted to use them. Add navigation item, and just as before, what this would do is add it to the in the section at the top of the page here, but inside this directory as opposed to the external directory. I'll leave that alone. Overwrite existing. If there was already a page with this name, it would overwrite it with this new page. And the access group is set to inherit from parent. So most all the web pages across the system have specific access groups, and they allow us to set up the rights for certain people to edit them, but only those pages. So for example, somebody with access to edit material in accountant, for example, can't skip over to MRC web and edit pages in there. They can only do the pages that they've been granted access to. And a lot of times inherit from parent will work just fine. The same groups edit the subsites as well. We click create. So what it's doing right now is it's creating the directory for that subsite, but it's also creating the nav file and index page for that subsite. And it launches us, as we can see here, if I shut off toggle focus mode, into the index page for that site, ready to edit and make whatever we want it to be. The other thing to note about it, it is completely unpublished. It just exists right now. And it would be up to you if you wanted to publish it for easy finding later. You could not publish it if you didn't want to, so long as you could get access to it through the directory system. And if we go outside, back into content pages, here's our new directory, web page accessibility. We have a nav file, it's currently unpublished, and we have our index page, it's currently unpublished. And of course, if we needed a new standard content page, because we'll have some of those in there, we click new, standard content page. And a common accessibility problem on web pages is improper bold and italic coding. So we could call a page that. Improper formatting coding. And again, description tags if we wanted them, keywords, same items as before. Difference with the standard content page is it has a file name. So we might call it improper format. Same options as before, create. And it'll launch us automatically into that page when we make it, so we can start to work on it if we want to. And we've created our subsite ready to work on.